What's good, fam? Let me get straight to it. No stalling. There's a fresh clip floating around of Drake in a private studio playback, flirting with a bar that damn near dances around saying Kendrick's name without actually saying it. That's the whole energy right now. It's that I want to bark, but I ain't ready for the bite vibe. Today, I'm breaking down how Drake and Young Thug tried to slap duct tape on the optics with that 7-minute apology rollout, why it looks premeditated, and why leaving Kendrick, J. Cole, and Andre 3000 off that sorry list was not an accident. I'm talking chess moves, not feelings. And if you think I'm reaching, explain this. That never before seen Drake FaceTime clip with Amir, Esmailian popped up inside Thug's video like it was cleared in advance. You don't stumble into that, you plan it. And if they plan that, then what didn't get said matters even more. Stick with me, because the part they didn't apologize for is the part that's gonna blow back the hardest. Let's talk about that 7-minute confessional. Man, I miss my dogs. On the surface, folks calling it a W because he put it on wax instead of getting weird on IG Live. Cool. Better than a rant, I'll give him that. But the writing felt like survival mode. It wasn't shaped like a full thought, it was shaped like a cleanup mission. Over and over again, it's my bad to Drake, to Future, to Lil Baby, to Gucci Mane, to Family, to Mariah the Scientist. But peep the sequencing. Drake's apology slid right after Mariah. That's not random, that's priority positioning. That's let me lock down home base and my biggest industry co-sign first. Like he knew exactly who needed to be happy before any rollout even breathes. And then the visuals. That Drake FaceTime with Cash XO didn't just appear out the blue. That looks like coordinated imagery. Like, yo, we on the same page, show the people unity. Drake liking the lyrics post quick fast after the song drop only boosts that framing. It reads like a handshake already done in the dark, then shown to the public as reconciliation. I'm not saying I got the paperwork in hand. I'm saying it walks and quacks like a plan, which raises the real question. If you're in make it right mode, why duck 3 names that matter the most? Because you noticed it too. He apologized to everybody under the sun except Kendrick, Lamar, J. Cole, and Andre 3000. For Andre especially, wild. That's Atlanta royalty, the city's DNA. And you skip him? That wasn't oversight, that was strategy. You do not go out of your way to patch fences with Drake, then leave the lyric First Giants untouched, unless you're drawing a line in the sand about what lane you're choosing. That's not an apology tour, that's alliance building. That's saying, I'm with the vibe and streams crowd, not with the pens that expose weak writing. It ain't just personal, it's philosophical. And the messiest part, the producer who refused to fold made the whole thing look even softer. Metro Boomin reportedly not trying to squash with Drake. That's a real stand. Salute. When someone of Metro's weight says, nah, we off that, it scraps the narrative that the whole game is circling back to status quo. It throws a wrench in the idea that Thug can pull Drake, Future, and Metro back into the same orbit like nothing happened. Meanwhile, Future staying low, that silence is loud. If Pluto ain't sprinting to co-sign the reunion, the triangle is cracked. That affects the beats you can get cleared, the features you can sell, the tour ideas you can cook. Without Metro's drums and Future's gravitas, your rebuilding plan is missing 2 pillars, and the house don't look sturdy. And then Thug tosses in the gunner angle. On the record, he plays the I miss you card and still drops the rap word at him. That's not bridge building, that's optics juggling. You can't be asking the industry for grace and then waving a selective morality flag to the street at the same time. Fans clock that, the contradiction stuff feeling desperate, not convincing. And when it feels desperate, that's an L waiting to happen, because the more you yawn at the pen, the more the pen pushes back. Speaking of pushing behind the scenes, let's talk quiet brokers. Thug straight up references that Cash XO pulled people on calls. Then we see Amir Esmailian in the FaceTime footage inside the video. That's not vibes, that's coordination. The incentives line up too. Drake needs allies who still stream high and draw young ears. Thug needs a cosign with mainstream reach that cuts through the legal fog and the chatter. Linking up gives both of them a short-term bump. It reads like a calculated partnership more than a genuine I'm sorry, which is why I'm looking at the calendar and the rumors right now. Like, yeah, this smells like rollout season. There's chatter about a mid to late September window for Thug to drop. People even been whispering about the 19th like it's circled in red. If that's the case, this apology might be the opener, not the main event. Phase 1, clear optics. Phase 2, launch the big single. It would make perfect sense for them to go all in on a Drake X Thug record, because both of them need a quick W to stabilize perception. But here's the catch. If Metro don't pull up and the Future's still quiet, then it's just Drake's pop reach plus Thug's cult pull trying to drag something up the charts. If it hits cool, you can scream, we still here. If it don't, that flop feels 10 times heavier because it was so obviously strategic. It becomes the proof that the lights are on and the party really is over. And the craziest part is they didn't have to do it like this. If they wanted a real flex, skip the hand wringing, drop a surprise record that's tight, no corny pleading, no please clear my features energy, just a focused razor pen over cold production that doesn't try to chase anything. That would have read confident. Instead, they chose the apology optics and tucked their pen in the top drawer. That's why the subs and almost name drops from Drake look shaky, because if you ready for smoke, you say the name and you build the record to hold it. Anything else looks like fear. Mid-video, real quick, if you rocking with the breakdown, run that like, hit subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. It keeps the video moving and tells the algorithm we not here for soft spins. We here for the truth and the bars. Appreciate you, for real. Back to it. There's a reason they won't say Kendrick's name outright. After the run he just had, tossing his name casual is career self-harm. This is a man who changes temperature with a couple lines, then lets the music sit. If you aim at that throne and come up short, you don't just get flamed on the timeline, you lose leverage in rooms. So you get Drake doing that almost bar routine, brushing close to the name but not quite touching it. That's not confidence, that's hedging. That's protecting the brand or trying to act like you about that action. And it's glaring because the culture's ears shifted back to writing. People want structure, layers, substance, which is exactly why not apologizing to Kendrick, Cole, or Andre is so loud. It reads like admission, like we can't win on pen, so we're gonna lean into celebrity and vibes instead. That's the soft rapper alliance trying to press snooze when the alarm been ringing since last year. Cole's the wild card. You disrespect Andre by omission. You keep playing weird with Kendrick, and you leave Cole hanging after he literally helped elevate Thug's biggest moments with the London and a whole arena tour. If Cole decides he's done being the nice guy and picks up the pen for real, the room gets even hotter. And I don't think Drake wants that either, because here's the real talk about Drake's slide. He's substituting finality with pity optics, constant subs, IG energy, a bunch of almost, and trying to lean on alliances as a shield. That's not the Drake who used to end conversations with a single record. That's a dude protecting market share. I ain't even saying he can't fix it. He could, he just won't choose the harder road. If he wanted a real W, he stopped the cryptic bars, dropped one decisive cut with clean structure and a hook that don't pander, and do it over production that pushes him into an uncomfortable pocket. Lock in with a producer who ain't scared to say no. Do it again, you coasting. No IG dramatics, no performative leaks, just big boy rap. If he came like that, even the people who don't rock with him would have to salute. But instead, we get the apology cosign dance and a face that keep peeking out from behind other names. That's an L. And for Thug, the window was even tighter. Every clearance, every feature, every sample right now is political. You trying to rebuild bridges, but keep a certain edge to hold your base. That means any corny optic gets magnified tenfold. It's why this apology should have been cleaner lyrically and tighter conceptually. If the album comes bloated like a dumping ground for half-baked ideas and safe guest verses, it'll get eaten alive. Success looks simple here. One undeniable single that don't feel forced, a cohesive album that speaks with purpose and minimal clown energy. Anything less, and it's just another rollout praying the streams disguise the hollowness. And that's where this crowd already losing, because the barheads do not care about your playlist placements if the writing ain't serious. Now here's the piece that stings. If you in that camp, Andre 3000 didn't even want to be outside. Man be somewhere playing the flute, living peaceful. To not clear that up, crazy. That's spitting at the roots for no reason. It shows me the game these dudes really playing ain't about culture, it's about optics. And when your optics strategy depends on Drake to be your stabilizer while he's catching public L's, you're not building a fortress, you're building a sandcastle. And here's where that almost name drop clip from Drake comes back into play. You saw the vibe. He toe tapped around saying Kendrick's name like the floor was lava. That ain't warrior energy, that's brand protection. I'm not claiming I know the exact room or the exact date that playback happened, but the body language said everything. It's the same dives we keep getting on tracks and snippets. Brush up against the throne, wink at the timeline, then slide back into safe territory. That's how you keep your market share without actually risking a lyrical clash. But now that Thug lined up behind him publicly, the dodge looks even louder. Because if you step with a squad and still won't say the name, what are we doing? There's something else y'all clock even if you ain't put words to it. The omission of Andre 3000 hits different in Atlanta. That's the fountain. That's Outkast DNA in every corner of the city sound. You can experiment, you can push melodic pockets, you can get weird with flows. All of that stands on Andre and Big Boy kicking down every door first. So when Thug apologized to half the map and still left Andre hanging, that wasn't just messy. It felt like a statement that craft and lineage ain't the priority. In a scene already fighting the vibes over pen stigma, that read like doubling down on it. If you grew up loving both Dungeon Family roots and new school energy, that's a tough pill. And the fact Drake co-signs this lineup shift, man, that is the softest kind of silent agreement you can make. But that wasn't the whole story. Look at how the business side warps the music right now. When a producer like Metro Boomin keeps his distance, it throws a wrench in the machine. You can't just swap in any 808S and say the same thing. Metro's drums carry a narrative of their own. Same with Future. Pluto's tone gives a record stakes even before the verse lands. If those two stay quiet or selective, the "we back" plan loses air. They might still pop a single with Wheezy or Southside or London on Day Track, for sure. Those are real cooks. But if the triangle of Drake Thug Future is fractured, the sauce ain't the same. And that matters on day one when the playlist desks and festival bookers do the silent math. Who's by your side, who's ducking you, and who's only lending you a hook but not the full push. I keep hearing folks say, but if the song is fire, all this politicking won't matter. I feel you. I wish it worked like that. But right now, the politics and the pen are tied up because the moment Kendrick spun the block with surgical verses, the ear changed. Audiences lean back towards structure and layered writing. So when the optics scream joint strategy and the bars scream mid, the streets call it out. That's why apologizing through music is not enough if the music sounds safe. You gotta architect the record to withstand pressure, not just thank people on a beat and hope for mercy. If I'm being fair, there's a tiny window where Drake could still flip this. He's not washed skill-wise, he's complacent. He could lock himself with one uncompromising producer for a short, mean project. No algorithm bait, no 6 writers polishing the shine off the edges, go uncomfortable. Tighter pockets, fewer hooks, fewer cute ad-libs, 4-minute songs with one clear thesis each. You finish a verse and the room is quiet like DMN, he really said that. Not a PR play, a rap play, but that's a heavy ask when the brand is built on constant motion and maximum coverage. It's possible. I just don't see him choosing that path unless the loss is stacked so high he got no choice. And low-key, the L's already stacking. For Thug, the path is even narrower. Even if the streets still love him, this isn't 2016 where a chaotic track list gets graded on charisma alone. He needs cohesion. If the album comes bloated, full of half-hearted apologies and fishing for hits, features, it'll age fast. One undeniable single, a focused 10 to 12 track core, and a message that feels lived in instead of rehearsed. That's the route. I'm not claiming I got the inside schedule, but if that rumored date lands and we hear a Drake feature shoved into the center like a life jacket, the timeline's gonna read it as panic. And panic, broadcasting through the speakers, is the surest way to catch a major L right now. I gotta circle back to Cole because that tension sits in the middle of all this. J. Cole ain't perfect, but he's different because he'll disappear, sharpen, and come back swinging with an essay on beat. He literally executive produced a wave for Thug during the KOD era and gave him the London. So to see that courtesy not reciprocated is nasty optics. If Cole picks up the pen and balances being surgical with being petty just a little bit, the temperature spikes. He doesn't even have to diss. He can just put out a song about respect, lineage, and standards, and it will cut harder than any sub because it stands for something. Drake does not want that kind of lesson plan floating around right before a rollout week. Let's address the young viewer asking, bro, why y'all so pressed about apologies? It's just music, because it's never just the apology, it's the direction the apology points. When you apologize to everyone but the 3 figures who represent the pen first lane, Kendrick, Cole, Andre, that's not random. That's planting a flag on the opposite hill. It tells me the game plan is to overwhelm the timeline with the celebrity links and glossy visuals instead of locking in on writing. And if you feel like the genre been stuck in a copy and paste era, that strategy is exactly why. We keep rewarding rollouts that look neat but say nothing. Kendrick pulled the fire alarm on that. You either get on beat and say something real, or you get out the way. Here's my honest read on that rumored Drake X Thug single. If it shows up this month, expect slick melodies, clever half bars, and a clean visual. Expect subs, expect coded lines, expect them to flirt with that party is over concept without naming the source. It'll stream. It might even trend for a weekend. But unless the writing says we going toe to toe with the pens, it won't move the culture meter. The casuals will vibe, the stands will praise, the barheads will shrug, and history gonna look back at it like a nice attempt to patch a sinking ship. I'm not wishing that on them. I'm saying the math ain't hard if you watch how the audience been reacting in 2024. One thing I didn't mention yet that matters a lot is tour consequence. Live money is king. If Metro stays distant, if Future remains selective, if Cole doesn't step in to lend goodwill, the tour proposition loses teeth. You can still sell rooms as Drake and Thug, for sure. But the difference between we can do arenas with ease and we got to package 4 openers and discount the back half of the building comes down to narrative. If the narrative is the first crowd turn their back and the streets think you moving funny, you got to overpay to make the show feel big. That's a business L stacked on top of a cultural L. And industry folks read those tea leaves quick. Suddenly features get more expensive, clearances get complicated, and that we all family energy dries up. Let me also say this because people love to twist my words. I'm not rooting against anybody feeding their kids. I'm rooting against lazy moves dressed up as master strategy. If Drake and Thug came with a record that had spine, I'd salute it even if I don't rock with their whole recent run. Music first, always. But right now, the patterns scream image triage. And the reason I'm so loud about it is because I've seen what happens when the bar drops. It gets covered for 1,000 mid copycats, and we get another year of playlists flooded with safe heat that evaporates in 2 weeks. We deserve better. The culture deserves better. So what happens next? My guess, not gospel. A collab drops. It's loud, expensive, and polished. It picks at the edges of their critics without naming names. It'll debut strong. Then the second week reality test arrives. If the writing's thin, it slides. If it's strong, I'll be the first to say I was wrong. But if the alliances stay shaky, if Metro and Future don't fully lock in, if J. Cole stays quiet, if Kendrick remains above the fray, this attempt to prove the party's still raging won't land the way they hope. You can't turn the lights back off once the crowd saw the wires on the ceiling. And just so we're crystal clear, the almost energy from Drake is going to keep getting called out. In a moment where silence means you cooking and subs mean you scared, that's a bad trade. Either load the clip and go record for record, or move with humility and rebuild through quality. The halfway stance ain't fooling nobody anymore, especially not this audience. Y'all been grading with tougher rubrics all year, and the comments stay honest. I respect it. If they really wanted to make a statement, talk to Andre 3000 like a grown man and fix that even privately. Then come out with a joint where Thug actually writes like he got something to prove, and Drake trims the fluff. 4 verses, no filler, no jokes. Let the beat breathe, let the words sting, and give credit to the soil you grew from. That would send shockwaves. That would make even the skeptics nod. That would be a W that feels earned, not engineered. Until then, the Soft Rapper Alliance label sticks. Y'all chose vibes over pen, optics over substance, and safe over sharp. Meanwhile, Kendrick's sitting somewhere quiet, building the next storm. He doesn't have to rush. The pressure already doing his work for him. Every almost is a free promo for the day someone finally says his name and has to live with the replies. I'm leaving you with this. Was that apology about healing or hiding? Was the FaceTime clip a peace treaty or a press release? And if they really believed the music would carry them, why duck the 3 names that would have forced them to write at the highest level? You can't preach unity with one hand and throw shade at the pillars with the other. That's not unity. That's a brand meeting. If that rumored collab lands this week, I'm breaking it down bar for bar. No mercy, no fluff. If it's fire, we calling it a W. If it's cap, we calling it out. Run up the likes if you still here rocking. Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe so you don't miss the breakdown when that record drops. Turn on the notifications too, because the second that song hits the platforms, I'm on it. Love to everybody tapped in. Stay sharp, keep your ear honest, and never let the algorithm gas you into thinking mid is monumental. We out.